First contact miscalculation. Admiral Thrax stood on the command deck of the Voraxian flagship Inevitable Conquest, his scaled fingers tapping rhythmically against the glossy black control panel. The massive view screen before him displayed a small blue planet, the third from its unremarkable yellow star. Earth, he said, the word sounding harsh in the Voraxian tongue. Preliminary reports confirm it as a Class 3 acquisition. Abundant resources, moderate technological development, minimal defensive capabilities. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Vex, flicked her forked tongue in agreement. The inhabitants call themselves humans. Their planetary military forces are fractured into nation-states. No unified defense network, no orbital weapons platforms, no detection systems beyond their immediate atmosphere. Thrax's lips curled into what passed for a smile among his species, revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth. The Voraxian Empire had conquered 12 systems in the past decade alone. Earth would be the 13th, an auspicious number in Voraxian culture. Deploy the advanced scouts, Thrax ordered. Standard protocol for a Class 3 planet. Silent approach, atmospheric analysis, defensive assessment, then limited engagement to evaluate resistance capabilities. It will be done, Admiral, Vex said with a formal bow. The scouts will deploy within the hour. As Vex departed to relay his orders, Thrax studied the blue planet with satisfaction. The Voraxian High Command had authorized him to test their newest weaponry on this world before formally adding it to the Empire. His career advancement would be assured once he delivered Earth's resources to the homeworld. Just another primitive species about to learn their place in the galaxy, he murmured to himself. Halfway around the world from where most humans thought America's most classified research happened, Dr. Maya Chen stared at her monitor in disbelief. The array of dishes and sensors she had designed, hidden in plain sight as weather monitoring equipment in the remote Australian outback, had detected something impossible. Thomas, are you seeing this? She called to her colleague, Dr. Thomas Okafor, who was hunched over his own workstation. I am, he replied, his voice tight with tension. 7 objects, decelerating from speeds that should be physically impossible, coming to rest at equidistant points in high Earth orbit. Maya pushed her glasses up her nose, a nervous habit from childhood that 20 years of scientific achievement hadn't broken. This isn't a glitch, is it? I've run 3 diagnostic checks. Thomas looked up, his expression a mixture of fear and excitement. Maya, this is it. This is what we've been looking for. For 8 years, Project Cassandra had operated under the official designation of Advanced Meteorological Research. In reality, it was humanity's secret first line of defense against extraterrestrial contact, a contingency plan deemed too fantastical to share with the general public, but too important to ignore completely. Alert the director, Maya said, already typing commands to begin recording every possible data point from the unknown objects. We're at condition Omega. Within 30 minutes, Director Harrington's weathered face appeared on the secure video link. Unlike Maya and Thomas, who still looked shell-shocked, the former intelligence officer appeared grimly unsurprised. We always knew this day would come, he said simply. What do we know about our visitors? Maya pulled up the latest scans. 7 objects, approximately 200 meters in length each. They're using some kind of energy field that's bending light around them. Advanced cloaking technology. But our quantum interference detectors can still track them. Any communications? Nothing we can detect, Director, Thomas replied. But they're deploying smaller craft now. We count 12 vessels, each about the size of a commercial airliner, descending into the atmosphere. Current trajectories suggest they're heading for major population centers. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, Tokyo, Sydney, and Rio. Harrington's expression darkened. And conventional radar. Completely blind to them, Maya confirmed. If we hadn't built the QID network, we'd have no idea they were coming, Harrington finished. Implement Protocol Thunderbolt. I'll brief the Security Council. In the meantime, See if you can find a way to disrupt whatever technology they're using to hide themselves." As the video link terminated, Maya turned to her team, now gathered around her workstation, with expressions ranging from excitement to terror. "You heard the director," she said, forcing confidence into her voice. "Let's find a way to level the playing field." Commander Kira Jackson had been having a perfectly normal day patrolling the waters off the coast of San Diego when the encrypted message came through. 20 minutes later, she found herself flying at supersonic speeds in an experimental aircraft she hadn't known existed until today. "Run this by me again," she said to the pilot, Major Riley Tanaka, who seemed disturbingly calm about the fact that they were apparently heading to intercept an alien spacecraft. Project Cassandra detected extraterrestrial vessels entering Earth's atmosphere, Tanaka replied, eyes fixed on his instruments. "The brass has activated sleeper units like ours all over the world. We're the closest team to the vessel heading toward Los Angeles. And what exactly are we supposed to do when we find it? Ask them to fill out an immigration form." Tanaka's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. "The craft you're sitting in isn't just fast, Commander. It's equipped with experimental weapons systems designed to work against technologies that theoretically shouldn't exist on Earth." Kyra looked around at the cockpit with new appreciation. "You're telling me the government has been preparing for an alien invasion?" "Not the government," Tanaka corrected. "A small international consortium of scientists, military personnel, and government officials who were concerned enough to develop contingency plans without causing public panic. Current orders are to attempt observation only, but we're authorized to engage if the visitors demonstrate hostile intent." The aircraft's sensors pinged, and Tanaka adjusted their course. "We have contact. The vessel is hovering over the Pacific, about 30 miles offshore from Los Angeles. Cloaking technology active, but our systems can see through it." Kyra peered through the canopy but saw nothing but clear blue sky. "I'll take your word for it. What's it doing?" "Collecting atmospheric samples, according to our readings. Standard procedure 4. Tanaka's explanation was cut short as the aircraft shuddered violently. "They've spotted us," he said tersely. "Some kind of energy beam just scanned us. And now, they're powering up weapons systems. So much for peaceful first contact," Kyra muttered. "What are our options?" "We have an experimental EMP device that might disrupt their electronics, assuming they use anything remotely similar to our technology. Or we have missiles with quantum-locked targeting systems that should, in theory, bypass any defensive measures." The decision was made for them as a brilliant pulse of energy erupted from seemingly empty air, narrowly missing their wing. "Return fire," Kyra ordered. "The EMP first. Let's try to disable rather than destroy if possible." Tanaka deployed the weapon. And for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a mirage dissolving, the outline of a sleek, metallic craft appeared in the sky ahead of them, and it was falling. "Direct hit," Tanaka exclaimed. "Their systems are failing. They're going down in the ocean." Kyra watched in amazement as the alien vessel, now fully visible, plummeted toward the Pacific. "Alert the recovery team. We need to secure that crash site before anyone else sees it." As they circled above the splashdown location, Kyra couldn't help but feel that something monumentally important had just occurred. Humanity had just won its first skirmish against an extraterrestrial threat, and the rest of the world didn't even know it had happened. On the command deck of the inevitable Conquest, Admiral Thrax received the distress signal from Scout Vessel 3 with disbelief that quickly transformed into rage. "Impossible," he snarled. "A Class 3 civilization couldn't possibly have detected our scouts, let alone possessed weapons capable of disabling one." Sub-Commander Vex approached cautiously, aware of her superior's legendary temper. "We've lost contact with 3 scout vessels, Admiral. The others report unexpected resistance. The humans appear to have detection technology far beyond what our initial surveys indicated." Thrax slammed his scaled fist against his command chair. "This was supposed to be a simple acquisition. How could our intelligence be so flawed?" "Unknown, Admiral. But the humans are displaying capabilities that would classify them as at least a Class 5 threat. The admission visibly disturbed Thrax. The Voraxian Empire had never failed in a planetary acquisition, not once in its 1,000-year history of expansion. His name would not be the first associated with such a humiliation. "Deploy the first wave of battle cruisers," he ordered. "I want those human defense systems identified and neutralized. And find me everything we know about their technology. Someone has made a grave miscalculation, and I intend to correct it permanently." As Vex hurried to comply, Thrax turned his gaze back to the view screen, where Earth continued its serene rotation, oblivious to the conflict beginning to unfold around it. What had seemed like an unremarkable planet now represented the first serious challenge to Voraxian dominance in centuries. "You've surprised us, humans," he murmured. "But the Empire does not tolerate surprises." The counteroffensive. Dr. Maya Chen hadn't slept in 36 hours, but adrenaline and determination kept her focused as she examined the recovered alien technology. The scout ship that Commander Jackson had disabled had been quickly retrieved from the Pacific Ocean and transported to a secure facility beneath the Australian outback, where Maya's team now worked feverishly to understand their unexpected visitors. "Their propulsion system uses principles of quantum field manipulation we've only theorized about," she explained to Director Harrington, who watched via secure video link along with representatives from a dozen countries' military and scientific communities. "But their computational systems are, surprisingly, less advanced than I would have expected." "Meaning what, exactly?" General Williams of the U.S. Joint Chiefs asked. "Meaning they've clearly mastered certain technological domains, energy generation, propulsion, weapons, but their approach to information technology suggests a rigidity of thinking. Their computers use crystalline storage matrices that are incredibly efficient, but programmed in ways that suggest they rarely need to adapt to unexpected scenarios." Director Harrington leaned forward. "Are you suggesting we might have an advantage there?" Maya nodded. "Potentially. Human computer systems evolve through constant adaptation to cyber threats, hardware limitations, and rapidly changing requirements. We're messy, but flexible. Their systems seem designed for stability and reliability in known conditions, not rapid adaptation. Can we exploit this difference?" The question came from Dr. Liang of China's Advanced Research Division. "I believe so," Maya replied, excitement creeping into her tired voice. "We've already reverse-engineered enough of their communication protocols to potentially insert our own code into their network. With a few more hours, we might be able to create a virus that could temporarily disable their ship's offensive capabilities." General Williams looked skeptical. "You're saying we can hack the aliens?" "That sounds like science fiction, Doctor." Maya smiled thinly. "With respect, General, so does this entire situation. But yes, I believe we can hack them. And we'd better move quickly, because our orbital sensors show another wave of vessels deploying from the larger ships in orbit." Commander Jackson, who had been silently observing until now, spoke up. "The vessel we encountered seemed completely unprepared for our EMP weapon. If we can deploy similar technology against multiple targets simultaneously..." "Exactly," Maya agreed. "They're clearly technologically superior in many ways, but they seem to have blind spots, assumptions about what a primitive species like us should be capable of. That's our window of opportunity." Director Harrington nodded decisively. "Dr. Chen, you have whatever resources you need to develop this countermeasure. Commander Jackson, coordinate with international defense forces to prepare a coordinated response when the next wave arrives. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be outgunned, but we are not yet outmatched." As the meeting dispersed, Maya returned to her workstation, where fragments of alien code scrolled across multiple screens. The Voraxian systems were elegant but predictable, designed by beings who valued order and hierarchy above all else. Human software, by contrast, was a chaotic mixture of competing standards, patches upon patches, and creative workarounds. Sometimes she murmured to herself, Messy is exactly what you need. Admiral Thrax watched in mounting fury as reports of failures continued to reach the command deck. 12 battle cruisers had descended to engage the humans directly, and 8 had already gone silent. The remaining 4 reported increasing difficulties as their targeting systems malfunctioned and their communications became unreliable. How is this possible? He demanded of his technical officer, who cowered visibly before his rage. They are using our own systems against us. It appears, Admiral, that the humans have introduced a corrupting element into our fleet network, the officer explained nervously. A virus, they would call it. It's rewriting our command protocols faster than our security systems can isolate it. Thrax's normally bronze scales had darkened to an ominous shade of crimson, the Varaxian equivalent of a face flushed with anger. You assured me their technology was primitive, that they would have no defense against our weapons. Based on our initial scans, they shouldn't have, the officer protested, but they appear to have been concealing their true capabilities, or developing them specifically in response to our arrival. This possibility gave Thrax pause. The Empire's strategy had always relied on overwhelming technological superiority and the element of surprise. But these humans had seemingly anticipated their arrival and prepared accordingly. More disturbing still, they were adapting to Varaxian technology with alarming speed. Admiral, Subcommander Vex interrupted his thoughts. Our sensors detect multiple launching sites on the planet's surface. The humans are deploying aerial vehicles toward our positions. Thrax hissed in frustration. Destroy them. Use the primary energy cannons if necessary. Our targeting systems are compromised, Admiral. The virus has spread throughout the fleet network. We can still fire, but accuracy is severely degraded. On the view screen, Thrax watched as swarms of small, primitive-looking human aircraft approached his remaining battle cruisers. By all logic, they should pose no threat to Varaxian shields and armor. Yet, as he watched, the human vessels released weapons that somehow penetrated his ship's defenses, causing cascading system failures. They're targeting our cooling systems, the technical officer realized aloud. But how could they know? They've analyzed the scout ship they captured, Thrax concluded grimly, and identified our vulnerabilities with remarkable speed. He turned to Vex. Order all remaining vessels to withdraw to high orbit. Recalibrate our strategy. As his remaining battle cruisers retreated, Thrax felt something unfamiliar settle in his chest. Doubt. The Varaxian Empire had encountered hundreds of species in its expansion, but none had offered resistance like this. None had turned the Empire's technology against itself so effectively. Admiral, Vex said quietly, High Command is requesting an update on the acquisition of Earth. Thrax stared at the blue planet on the view screen. What had seemed like an easy conquest now loomed as a potential catastrophe for his career, and possibly for the Empire's expansion strategy as a whole. Tell them, he said slowly, that we have encountered unexpected complications. On the surface of Earth, humanity's coordinated counterstrike was taking shape. In laboratories and military bases across the globe, scientists and engineers worked frantically to adapt the insights gained from the captured alien technology into weapons that could be deployed against the invasion fleet. Commander Jackson now found herself in charge of a multinational squadron of pilots, each flying aircraft hastily retrofitted with reverse-engineered alien technology. The upgrades had been completed mere hours before the alien battle cruisers entered the atmosphere. Remember your training, she told her pilots over the secure channel as they approached the massive alien vessel hovering over the Atlantic. Target the external cooling vanes precisely as instructed. Their ships generate enormous energy, and without proper cooling, their systems will overload. What about their weapons, Commander? Asked her wingman, a Brazilian Air Force captain whose voice betrayed understandable nervousness. Dr. Chen's virus has compromised their targeting systems, Kyra replied with more confidence than she felt. They'll try to fire, but their accuracy should be severely degraded. Stay in formation and execute the attack pattern exactly as planned. As they approached the alien craft, a behemoth that dwarfed the largest human aircraft carrier, Kyra saw energy weapons discharge wildly, most shots missing her squadron entirely. The few that came close were deflected by the protective fields generated by the technology Maya's team had adapted from the scout ship. "Weapons hot," she ordered. "Execute attack run now." The squadron broke into 3 groups, approaching the Varaxian vessel from different angles. Each aircraft released missiles specifically designed to attach to the alien ship's cooling vanes and inject a rapidly expanding foam that would block heat dissipation. It was a simple solution, almost crude compared to the advanced energy weapons the aliens employed, but devastatingly effective. Within minutes, alarms were blaring throughout the Varaxian battle cruiser as critical systems began to overheat. Emergency protocols activated, shutting down weapons and propulsion to prevent catastrophic failure. "Direct hits confirmed," Kyra reported as her squadron regrouped at a safe distance. "The target is losing altitude. All offensive systems appear to be offline." Similar reports were coming in from around the globe as other squadrons executed identical attacks on the remaining Varaxian vessels. One by one, the mighty ships of the alien fleet were being neutralized not by matching their advanced technology, but by exploiting basic physical principles they had overlooked in their confidence. In the Australian command center, Maya watched the signals from the alien fleet fade one by one from their tracking systems. "It's working," she said, hardly daring to believe it. "They're retreating." Director Harrington nodded grimly. "But they'll be back, and with a better understanding of what they're facing. This isn't over, Dr. Chen. It's barely begun." Admiral Thrax stood before the Emergency Council of the Varaxian High Command, his posture rigid with the effort of controlling his rage and humiliation. On the display behind him, footage from the failed Earth invasion played in a continuous loop, a visual reminder of an unprecedented defeat. "The humans employed tactics we had not anticipated," he explained, choosing his words carefully. "They targeted specific vulnerabilities in our design that we had not considered significant against a Class 3 civilization. You underestimated them," stated High Commander Draz, the eldest and most respected member of the Council. It was not a question. "Initial intelligence was flawed," Thrax countered. "The humans have been deliberately concealing their technological capabilities. More concerning, they demonstrate an unusual capacity for rapid adaptation. They captured one scout ship, and within days had developed countermeasures against our entire battle group." Murmurs of concern rippled through the council chamber. The Varaxian Empire had expanded for centuries on the principle that their technology was superior to all others, that conquest was inevitable once contact was established. The humans seemed to have shattered that assumption. "What do you recommend, Admiral?" Draz asked. His ancient eyes narrowed. Thrax had pondered this question during the long journey back to Varaxian space. His initial instinct had been to return with the full might of the Empire, thousands of ships that would overwhelm Earth through sheer numbers. But something gave him pause. "I recommend a strategic reassessment," he said finally. "The humans possess qualities we have not encountered before. They are fractured into nation-states yet united against external threats. Their technology is uneven yet rapidly adaptive. They identified and exploited weaknesses we did not know existed." He straightened to his full height, aware that his next words might determine not only his fate but that of the Empire. "I believe Earth should be reclassified as a Class 7 civilization, not based on their current technology, but on their potential for rapid advancement. Further engagement should be approached with extreme caution." The council chamber erupted in shocked discussion. No species had ever been elevated 4 classification levels based on a single encounter. Yet the evidence was undeniable. The humans had repelled an invasion force that should have easily conquered their world. High Commander Draz raised a clawed hand for silence. "Your recommendation will be taken under advisement, Admiral Thrax. The Council will deliberate on how to proceed regarding Earth." His ancient eyes fixed on Thrax with unsettling intensity. "In the meantime, perhaps there is something to be learned from these humans. Not all advancement comes through conquest. As Thrax left the chamber, he found himself contemplating a radical notion that the Voraxian Empire's 1,000-year expansion might have just encountered its limit, not in the form of a technologically superior adversary, but in a species that thought differently, adapted quickly, and turned weaknesses into strengths. Perhaps, he reflected, the humans weren't primitive after all. Perhaps they were exactly what the stagnating empire needed, a reminder that true advancement came not from dominance, but from the constant challenge to evolve. On Earth, humanity remained largely unaware of how close they had come to conquest, or how significantly they had altered their place in the galactic community. Only a small group of scientists, soldiers, and leaders knew the truth, that Earth was no longer alone, and that their success against the Voraxian fleet had not ended the challenge, but only began it. As Maya Chen studied the recovered alien technology, working to unlock its secrets before the inevitable return of the Voraxians or arrival of some other cosmic power, she couldn't help but feel a strange sense of pride. Humanity, with all its chaos and creativity, its divisions and determination, had proven itself against an enemy that had never known defeat. Whatever came next, Earth would be ready, not because they were technologically superior, but because they were uniquely, unpredictably human.